Okay, so this should be working now, I think. Let me double check. For some reason, I feel like doing anything with a Google account feels like it's a million times harder than it used to be. I just had to like sign in and out of my account just to get this to work. So let's see. It says I'm live. Okay, just making sure that everything is actually working. Okay, so the video quality is awful because I'm backlit like crazy, but that's fine because um, I honestly kind of feel gross right now because I need to shower, which is also, I put my hood up because my hair is so freaking greasy. Um, I was sitting here, I don't even remember what I was just doing, and I thought I want to kind of just talk about this year. I'm hoping that I don't go on a ridiculously long spiel like I do any other time I do a live. Uh, Basically, I feel like a lot of people, well, I don't know if a lot of people, but I kind of at the end of every year, I feel like I see videos of people saying about like, oh, this was the worst year. Like, please let next year be better or whatever. And you see them every single year. And once again, the end of this year, I see like a lot of videos of people saying that like, oh, this was a bad year, let's move on. And like for once, I feel like I can agree with that sentiment that this just was a kind of sucky year. Um, I don't think that I made any videos this year. I was not very motivated to do anything around my house this year. That's not to say I didn't do anything at all, because I did work on stuff around the house, but compared to previous years, I did not get a lot of stuff done. I did finally start working on the electrical in the house, which was pretty exciting, and I um, taught myself like basic electrical so that I could work on some of it myself. And that was a big thing that really needed to be done. So that was probably the most exciting thing that I did with the house this year. But that honestly feels like it happened so long ago, when in reality I was working on that. Uh, I guess that was in the summer, but that it doesn't even feel like that was this year. That feels like so long ago. But basically, to sum up this year, um, some stuff happened with my job that basically just led to me spending the entire year trying to leave my job. um, which you might be thinking, like, how does it take a year to leave your job? And essentially, what happened was that um, I still work for the same company, but I was waiting for a position to open up at a different location, and it ended up taking almost a whole year for that to happen. So I just spent almost the entire year being miserable at my job. There's no better way to say it. Like, I was very unhappy at my job for the whole year, and just really was unhappy. um, and like, honestly, like, angry every day that I had to go into work, and like had the whole, you know, um, cliche of like not wanting to get up in the morning because I knew I had to go to work, and like dreading that I had to go to work. And it honestly kind of felt like being like back in high school, because I hated having um, to, which like, I didn't have a bad experience in high school. I just didn't like going to school. So like I always was like so unhappy to have to like get up in the morning and go to school, because I just did not enjoy it at all. So it was very much like that experience all over again, of like how I felt when I was in high school, of just like I didn't want to get up in the morning. I hated that, like, knowing that I had to go in there, and like I get there and I'm just in a bad mood all day, and then like being in a bad mood for like such an extended, like 8 hours a day, then you like get home from work and like you're just exhausted, because like being in a bad mood for such an extended period of time just kind of like drains you physically. So then like I get home and I'm just like too tired to do anything. So that was how most of my year went. Um, but luckily, uh, at I guess it was kind of like mid-October, the position I wanted opened up, and I was able to transfer somewhere else. And I'm doing something that I like way more, in a location with people that I like way more, and a boss that um, I worked with previously that I get along with, unlike at the location I was at earlier in the year. So, like, that all worked out really well, but it was a very long 10 months of being at the other location where I was like super unhappy. So, yes, I worked at this other location for 9 years, and like finally left. And the only regret I have is that I didn't do it sooner, because I wanted to leave like 2 years ago, and um, decided to like stick it out. And I should have just left then, and like honestly probably just should have quit and like gotten a job somewhere else. But um, at the time, I was still enjoying what I was doing at my job, and that was no longer the case at the beginning of this year. I actually was just starting to dislike my job. Like, not just my boss and the people I was working with, I was actually starting to dislike what I was doing. So I now not only work at a different location, but I also have a different position. So I'm doing a different job with the company now. So yeah, it was a very good move, and it's going well. Like I said, that was like mid-October, so it's been over 2 months. And I'm being like intentionally vague with like my job and what I do because I don't really want to like go into it. It's nothing interesting. Um, it's just like I don't know. Don't really want to like go into detail about any of that. But yeah, so that's been going well, and I'm definitely in a much better mood. But um, I am like still, like I said, it's been about 2 months now, I guess going on 3 months. But I am still like adapting to the new routine of everything because it's not only um, did I spend, like I said, like 10 months of like desperately wanting to get out of the position that I was in. Um, I also basically, like, even though I'm with the same company, I basically got a new job. Like, because I moved to a different location and I changed my position. So, like, I made as many changes as I could. Like, I might as well have just gotten a new job. Like, the only benefit is that I'm still with the same company, so like um I didn't have to like go through a lot of the hassles that you have to go through with getting a new job. Like I'm still with the same company, so I still have like the same insurance and the same like all of that stuff. So like I didn't have to go through having to like change all that stuff around since I stuck with the same company that I've been with. I still have all the benefits of the fact that I've worked there for like 10 years now. Um, so I still have all that benefit, but with all of the benefits of like basically having a new job. So I'm adapting because that's like getting a new job is a pretty big change, especially after 10 years of doing the same thing. And it was also the first job that I ever had was what I've been doing for the past 10 years. So I'm still adapting to the change of like having this new job. But like I said, I do like what I'm doing now and it's like a good change, but I'm getting like into the rhythm of it still. But reflecting on this past year, because I just like, because I was so unhappy with my job, I just kind of fully checked out and wasn't doing a whole lot of anything. Now that I'm like reflecting back on the year, I realized that like I just kind of like stopped listening to music, which is kind of crazy because that's like the thing that I do. Like it was when I was like at work, I would listen to music all the time, and I just like stopped listening to music and I was like listening to a lot of podcasts, but I didn't realize how much I wasn't listening to music at all, like all year. And it was kind of exacerbated by the fact that I always listened to music on an iPod that I had like all of my music files. I use iTunes as like the interface to like build playlists and stuff like that. And my iPod stopped working, so I couldn't like easily listen to my music anymore. And I just didn't have like the bandwidth to like do anything about it. Because I do have an older iPod that still works, but I couldn't even deal with the hassle of like setting that up. So it was just easier to just use my phone. And I was like, well, if I can't listen to my music, I'll just listen to podcasts on my phone. So that's what I was like doing all year. But now that I'm uh, at this new job and in like a better headspace now, I was like, man, I need to get back into listening to music because like I feel like that I I need music. Like I it's just something that I it like regulates me. So I'm like I need to get back into listening to music. So um I figured if I'm gonna start using my phone since like I said my iPod broke and like I realized how much more convenient it is to just use my phone rather than having an iPod to carry around with me, which was fine before, but now um it's I like having like trying to think how to word this. With the job I was doing before, I just like never had my phone on me when I was at work and that was fine. But now with the job I'm doing, it's actually more convenient to have my phone on me while I'm at work. And I would rather not like have my phone on me and an iPod and like carrying all this stuff around in my pocket. So if it's going to be more convenient, I already have my phone on me to like use that to be listening to my music, that maybe I should figure out how to listen to my music on my phone. And I did at some point last year put a bunch of my music on my phone. Like I transferred a bunch of my music files onto my phone, but the interface was really bad and it made it hard to listen to it. And I was just sitting here and I was like, maybe I should try and figure this out. Like there has to be a way that I can um like access these files in a way that's more accessible and that I can make playlists and stuff on my phone. Like there has to be a way to do that. Like there just has to be. Like I have a Pixel. Like Google is interfacing a lot of their stuff the same way Apple does. So I'm like there has to be a way to do this. And then I realized that all I had to do was download YouTube Music and that acts as the interface for your audio files that you have on your phone, which like I could have I could have done that so easily at any point. And I just didn't know that that's what I needed to do. I just needed to, which I already had YouTube Music because I have a Google Pixel. I had YouTube Music on my phone, but I must have had the app hidden because I don't use it. Um, so all I had to do was activate the app, and now all of my files are easily accessible, and I can make playlists now because the files are already on my phone. So that's all I had to do to access the files. Um, I just needed to download YouTube Music because that's what it uh, the interface is. So yeah, I I could have done that at any point throughout the past year, and I just did not have the bandwidth to Google it and figure that out. So now I know how I can put all my music onto my phone and set up my playlists and stuff, which it does kind of suck that I'm still kind of I've used iPods for such a long time and like all I have all these playlists in iTunes like already set up, and it would be easier if I could just access that on my phone. But yeah, I don't know. Because like I don't have the I don't have my music through iTunes. I just use iTunes as the interface to build the playlist. So, yeah, I think I just need to take the time to like set it up on my phone now and like going forward, just not use iTunes as my music interface anymore, which is fine because I'm not an Apple person at all. I actually really dislike Apple products, and iPods were the only Apple product that I ever used in my entire life. I actively avoid Apple products otherwise, so it makes sense to just move on from iTunes and like figure out something else to use. I also never intend on getting an iPhone, so I'll I think I'll probably stick with Pixels because I like Google and I prefer using um, their products that are built to interface with everything. So, yeah. Anyway, that was like a long spiel about that, but yeah, just basically that like I realized um ba- essentially I realized how unhealthy it is that I haven't been listening to music and that I need to start listening to music again. Um, and a big part of that is getting it set up so that I can do it easily and um, basically just putting in a little bit of time to figure out how to do that. So, yeah, and also like because I basically spent the entire last year not listening to music, I gotta get caught up on everything that I missed. Like, I don't even know what may or may not have been released during that time because the only thing that I was actively aware of was 21 Pilots releasing Clancy in, I think, September was when that was. Um, which I listened to that a bunch when it came out. Such a good album, but that was like one of the few music things that I listened to uh, at all last year. So I'm like, I probably missed so many album releases in the last year that I was just unaware of. But yeah, I want to like get some stuff downloaded, like new stuff that, downloaded and like get back into listening to music. Also, BTS like officially announced their comeback for next year, so like it's a good time to get back into listening to music because I definitely uh am am ready for that. So yeah. So that was basically the spiel. That the year kind of sucked and I wasn't motivated to do much of anything. So I didn't get a lot done, but also the whole year is a blur and I don't really remember what I did and didn't do. Because like I said, I realize now that I did do a bunch of electrical work in the house and that was last year. It doesn't feel like it, but that happened this past year. So, yeah, but like no big major changes. I've just been trying to like fine tune like details around the house of like figuring out like the last like finishing touches. Um a big one is trying to finalize the living room. I had a lot of like little things around the living room that I knew weren't quite the way that I wanted them. So I was like been trying to figure that out. I was hoping I would get all of it finished before the end of the year, which it is like the living room is super close to being finalized, but I have a few more tiny details to do. And I actually, one of the last details, I like ordered a light for in here, and that came today. So that was like, I think the last thing that I needed to get to like put in the room. So that's exciting because the living room is where I spend literally all of my time when I'm home. So finally, like getting the last finishing details done in this room is exciting, and I'm like so close to doing it. So that's awesome. So I did work on that throughout the year. Um, and I did want to make a video once I had like all the last finishing details like pinned down. But every time I thought about making a video, I was like, I should hold off until I get like these last few things done because I'm like so close to being done. I did record a video of the dining room, but I have not edited it yet. Um, but my current plan, because I pushed it off, because I was gonna do it this past year and then like decided to wait, was that I was gonna do the built-in in the dining room and decided to wait. So my current plan is to do it this year, as long as something else doesn't come up. Because I'm actually like at the point now that since I've gotten more of the tiny detail stuff done in the rest of the house, that I'm eager to get the built-in done in the dining room because it's one of the last really big projects that I want to do in the house, and I'm eager to get it done so that I can bring all of my books back downstairs. And I had to pack up a bunch of my knickknacks because I just didn't have anywhere to put them after I took the shelves down to have my books on them. Because I obviously like I had my books on them, but it also was like where I displayed a bunch of knickknacks, and when I took them down, um, I didn't have anywhere to put those knickknacks anymore, so I just had to box them up for the time being until I have my new shelves built. And I'm like getting excited to be able um, to have the shelves built so that I can bring all my books back downstairs and have them on the shelves and uh, get all my knickknacks put back out because I hate having them boxed up, but I just for right now don't have anywhere to put them since I took the other shelves down. So um, I'm getting kind of, like I said, eager to have the shelves actually built so that I can put all my stuff back out that I had to kind of pack away until I have space for it. So um, I'm hoping that I can maybe do that uh, this year because like I know I have like all the plans for how I want to do the built-in and all of that. So it'll just be a matter of if I have the motivation to do it this year because it is a big project and I know it's gonna take a while to do. I'm hoping um it'll be a little bit easier. Well, I don't know if easier is the right word or not, but the bathroom built in was hard because it was my first like major thing that I've built. So it was the first time that I using that I used um like my power tools. So the entire thing was just a huge learning curve because I didn't know what I was doing at all. It was just kind of like um instinct, honestly, of like what seemed like the right way to do it. And then I would like periodically look some stuff up if I wasn't sure how to execute an idea. But everything was just kind of like, yeah, this seems right. And just kind of learned as I was doing it. But now I know a lot more. And so, in that aspect, the dining room project should be easier because I'm not going in completely blind. Like, I know how to use my power tools, I know more about how to build things now. So, like, that aspect is going to be a lot easier because it's not going to be quite as much of a learning experience as as that was, and I also don't have to do the demo that I did because the built-in in the bathroom, the hardest part of that was actually the demo that I had to do, and I don't have to demo anything for the dining room built-in, so that'll make that a little bit easier. So as long as I'm more motivated this year, that's the current plan. But um, it was kind of a happy accident that I ended up not doing that this year because, like I said, my motivation was very low because because of work. So um, I think if I would have tried to work on that this year, since I was in such a bad headspace, it probably would have made that project even harder because I just wouldn't have been in a good headspace to work on it. So I think that worked out that I ended up not doing it this past year and instead focused on smaller detail things that I could like just kind of slowly chip away at on the rare occasion that I was motivated to work on things around the house. So, yeah, uh, ended up not doing any videos because I just wasn't really getting anything big done around the house. But I did make progress with the living room, like I said, and I'm super excited about that. And so I'm hoping that this year I'll make some progress towards like my end goals uh, for the house of like getting things done. I mean, you can see like behind me, I like this wall is very different from when I recorded my video like over a year ago of the living room because I still had my shelves up over here back then. And like I took those down ages ago now. So yeah, uh, eventually I'll do a video update of the living room and like how it is now because it's kind of like I said, reaching that final point of where I want it to be. And yeah, like the getting the dining room done and like the kitchen's fairly close to being done. I did that last video of the kitchen so long ago. Honestly, not much has changed with the kitchen. Like I said, I just wasn't really um, working on anything big. I was mostly more focused on like decor elements of like those decorating touches of like figuring out where exactly do I want this picture hung and where exactly do I want this and how do I want this decorated. I was focusing more on that than any big like construction type projects around the house because I just was not in the mindset for anything like that. So, yeah, this past year kind of sucked. Um, kind of is like honestly, um, yeah, 2025 was not great. I think it's fair to say that it actually um, did suck, and the whole year is a blur. So yeah, I'm I'm definitely ready to move on and this year go into this year just like having solved a big problem so I can start off this new year better. Um, so yeah, I'm just like I guess I'm still shrugging off that like negative mindset that I was stuck in for such a big part of the year and finally pushing through into this year, moving forward, and like knowing that all the stress of last year is like dealt with and done now. So, yeah. Thank God that all of that is over and I can just move on from all that bullshit of last year. Thank goodness that it finally is done and it all worked out and I was able to get where I wanted to go and like I knew it would work out. It just took much longer than I expected. I did not expect to have to wait such a long time um for basically like I knew I'm trying to think how to explain it. Um I knew I was gonna leave and go to this where I'm at now. I was just waiting for the position to open, and it just took much longer than I expected it to for it to open for me to be able to transfer. So yeah, the wait was, I mean, 10 months is a long time to wait. Um, it was just like I had to wait for somebody to retire for the position to open, and it ended up being a much longer wait than we thought it would be, but it finally happened, and I was able to uh, take over the position. So yeah, uh, thank God. Um, it took way too long, but it finally happened. So you know, um, I definitely will not be reminiscing about 2025. It was not a good year. Um, I think like I have I think that was the big thing when I was sitting here and I was like, oh, I think I just need to like get these thoughts out of my head was that I looked back on the year and I was just like, what good memories do I have from this past year? Like what good things happened? And I was honestly struggling to think of anything. I was like, um did I go to any concerts? Like did I do anything that and it was like so minimal. Like I went to two concerts which were both great and like I went to a Comic-Con with my friend which was awesome, but that was about it. That was like the only good moments I could pick out of the year. And I honestly, the one concert I went to, I had to look in my calendar app to figure out if that even happened in 2025. Like I was honestly like, was that this year? Did that happen this year? I wasn't sure. I couldn't remember. I was like, I think so. Uh, and I checked because I could not I like the year was such a blur. I could not remember when it was, so I had to like look back in my calendar. I went and saw Hwasa with my sister and it was awesome. She's one of my favorite artists ever, and I never thought I would be able to see um a solo concert for her in the US and I got to go see her and it was one of my like honestly probably like my favorite thing that I did all year. And it was in March and I couldn't even remember whether or not it happened in 2025 or not. Like that's how long ago March feels that I wasn't even certain that it actually happened in 2025. So, yeah. Um it just I'm relieved the year is over. And like I said, the stresses of the year have all been resolved. So thank goodness. And yeah, happy new year. I can't imagine that this year could not possibly be better than last year because let's just say the stresses I had last year um can't repeat themselves. Like not that's not like hopeful thinking. That's like they can't happen again because I had some deaths in the family. So like those people aren't going to die a second time. You know what I mean? So like literally can't happen again. Um so yeah, same thing with like my job. Like that's not the situation I was in isn't going to happen again because I'm no longer working with those people that I was having issues with. So like that's not going to repeat itself either. So yeah, I'm sure like every year shitty things will happen, but it will not be to the degree of the shitty things that happened last year. So yeah. Um I just can't believe that all of that stuff happened in the same year. What a blur. What I feel like I dissociated for the entire year. Uh, I honestly, like I said, looking back, I I do not remember most of the year. I was not present for it. So, yeah, I am gonna shake off all of that mindset and go into this year in a better headspace because wow. I started off the year taking a few days off of work, which has been a great way to start the year. It's given me like a my brain like a hard reset, which is what I needed. So yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling now. I've got a cat cuddled up next to me. Ooh, there he is. Wait, wait, there he is. So yeah, I'm gonna go back to binge watching series, which is what I've been doing for the past like 3 days. I just have been, I start a series, I finish it, and then I immediately start another one. I I'm gonna go back to doing that. I I have enough time in my break from work to get through at least one more series, which is what I'm doing now. So I'm gonna I'm gonna finish watching this series and then um it'll be time for me to go back to work. So yeah, um to a better year. All right.